From WFAA-TV, News 8, the spirit of Texas, this is News 8 at 9 a.m. Good morning, Texas.
Welcome back to the show. What do you envision when you think of a gifted child? The word gifted alone suggests someone who excels, right? But did you know that many gifted children are actually underachievers in the classroom? One of the foremost experts on this subject, Dr. Gail Gross, joins us this morning, and we welcome you to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we were just talking before we got out to this, and you were saying that you have a gifted child, but at first you thought your child was retarded.
We thought he was retarded. He was born at 8 months. He had a trauma birth. He was slow in speaking. He had garbled speech when he began, because gifted children very often think in sentences, but they can't speak yet in sentences. So the words come out all garbled. And my husband looked at me and he said, "We have a problem." So I went to the pediatrician and I said, "I think Sean is retarded." And he said, "Gail, the problem is with you. A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. This child is okay. Let him mature at his own rate." And that's really what happened, and he did very well. But it wasn't really until kindergarten that we discovered he was gifted. Midway, the teacher in kindergarten called and she said, "Gail, Sean can't read, but he scored the highest grade in the class in the Metropolitan Readiness Test. What could be wrong? Aren't you a teacher?" At that time I was. And I said, "Yes, but I thought he was slow, and so I thought, give him a little time, don't pressure him. He'll develop, and if he's slow, time will help him. If he's okay, nothing will really be lost."
So time told basically that he was a gifted child. Let's talk about some of the characteristics of a gifted child. What should a parent look for?
You know, look for the way the child begins. Children are very sensitive when they're gifted. They talk a lot. Garbled speech in the beginning because they're thinking in sentences. They're very interested in many things. And in fact, a parent can really strike an environment that really inspires a child to find their gift. They often do find that gift by about 10 years old. If you put in that environment things that are interesting but not pressured. You know, the father that says, "If I let you try that tuba, you're going to play the tuba." And the child says, "Maybe I won't want to try that tuba because I might not want to play that tuba."
Right.
And if you say instead, "Let's rent a tuba. We'll try it for a month. If you don't like it, don't worry. Nothing lost, nothing gained."
So not a lot of pressure.
No pressure.
Well, let's talk about the test also. You mentioned a test that was given to your child. What tests are out there where people can use this to kind of gauge their IQ level?
Yes, well, of course, there are IQ tests, and that's a very big gauge. We have, in the beginning, Metropolitan Readiness tests, see if a child is really ready for school. There are many aptitude tests, but really, you need to know your child, pay attention to your child. You know, it's an old-fashioned idea, but it's being resurrected. We have to parent. Whether we work or not, we have to know our child, pay attention to them. You'll see a gifted child, and often these children are difficult because they challenge you, they're very chatty, they want your attention, and in a certain way they're naive because their intellect has developed so quickly, but their social skills haven't met those intellectual capacities, and they come off very immature.
Well, let's talk about slightly over 1/2 of the gifted children in the United States are having their educational needs met. So the education system is improving right now?
Well, it is improving in that we're becoming aware. Information is out there. Unfortunately, we don't really have the structure yet for the kinds of classrooms that should meet these children's needs. I spoke to 12,000 parents and teachers and counselors at the Gifted and Talented seminar in San Antonio a few weeks ago. And I began, because I knew these were colleagues and that they would really know, we don't have the money yet focused in the place that it needs to. For these children, they need to be grouped by themselves in a homogeneous grouping because they help one another. They need to, and they're different, and they're oversensitive, tuned in, and they challenge teachers. They're not necessarily so likable. And also, they need what we call humanistic environments, They need an environment where they're child-centered, where they can focus. And Einstein might have been interested in physics, definitely not interested in English, for example.
Well, thank you so much for all of your great information, and we'll try to get viewers some more help so that they can get more information, so they won't think that there's something wrong with their child, and they'll know that they're gifted. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for coming in,
I
Gail.
love being here.
Thank you. If you're interested in learning more about gifted and talented children, just check out the National Association for Gifted Children's website at www.nagc.org. And Catherine and Chris, back over to you.
Thanks very much, Debbie.